I'm Aurora, and my journey with yoga began when this guy trusted 17-year-old me with the keys to this studio so I could clean in exchange for classes. For the past 13 years, I've dedicated my career to giving back that exact gift I was given, and now I'm here to share it with you. Welcome to Work From Home Yoga. Hello, welcome to today's Spinal Health class. This one is going to be a very gentle way for us to create space in the body. So whereas normally a lot of times we can show up to the practice and try to force and push and pull our way into certain positions, our motto or our theme, if you will, for this type of class will actually be backing off a little bit. So trying less. Which means whenever I talk about your edge and like trying to go toward your edge or figure out where that is, I want you to actually shy away from your edge. So that way we can focus on incorporating the breath and use the breath in conjunction with that softness to create some space in the body. So let's go ahead and get started in a comfortable seat. Cross your legs, sit on your heels, sit up tall, let your palms rest on your knees. Lift the shoulders up toward the ears, draw them back and down a couple times. And find stillness in the upper body as you shift around in circles. So shifting side, forward, opposite side, and back. It's okay if your knees float off the ground as you do this. And it's also okay if you're feeling really tight in your low back and your hips today, because that is what we are going to work with. Okay, reverse directions. All these little movements end up adding up and making a huge difference. Especially toward the end of class, we notice, oh, I feel a lot better, even though it doesn't feel like we did a ton of work. The body knows, it pays attention, it's smart. Okay, meet back in neutral. We're gonna take some rounds of cat-cow, but keeping the hands on the knees. So as you inhale, lift the chest up, draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, round through the upper back, tuck your chin in toward your chest and release your weight back behind you. So inhale to lift up, exhale to round. We'll cycle through just like this, breath to movement. Breathing from your center. Keeping the upper back, the shoulders relaxed. Take 3 more. Last one. Meeting back in neutral. Let's plant the right hand by our sides, reach up and over. Take a side bend. Lengthening through the left side as you bend into this right elbow, drawing the shoulder blade down and back. And switch. Okay, all the way back up. Let's twist to the right. So plant the left hand on the outer edge of this right knee, sit up tall. Right hand relaxes behind you. You can stay up on the fingertips or plant the palm on the mat. And gently rotate over to the right. Close the eyes. And this is where we first apply that concept of trying less. So the technique, inhale to lengthen, exhale to rotate. But your rotation is so minimal that it is relaxed and it's not forced. Let's take 5 breaths on each side. Allowing that breath to originate from center. And take one more inhale. Full exhale. And release. And then switch sides. Over to the left. Sit up tall. Very gentle rotation. Try less. 5 breaths. One more inhale. And exhale. Unwind, come back to center. Cat cow. Brown through the upper back, chin to chest. And then arch, lift up, shifting forward. 4 more. These poses do not have to look like anything in particular. They don't have to feel even good. Sometimes when we do these poses, especially if it's been a while or the first time, they feel kind of awkward or uncomfortable, and that's normal. Okay, let's pause back in our seated position, tuck the chin in toward the chest, and then lift it away from the chest toward the ceiling, lifting and lowering. When you lift the chin up, if you want, you can press your chin forward, and then you'll feel that extra stretch along the front of the neck, as if you're jutting out your chin and you're really angry at somebody. When press out, feel that stretch, and then drop back in. Let's do one more. Back to center, look over the right shoulder and the left. Apply that same technique of ease, which we might be able to tell which side feels slightly more open, more available for us to rotate versus the other side. And meeting back in neutral. Okay, from here, let's shift forward onto hands and knees. Tabletop pose. Stack the shoulders on top of the wrists, hips over the knees, flat back. Cat cow here. Now inhaling to drop the belly, arch the back, look up. Exhale to round, chin to chest. Pressing them out away, doming through the upper back. Cycle through just like this. You can also shift backwards and forwards, adding a soft bend at the elbows. Three more rounds. When you're done, we'll meet back in our tabletop pose. Neutral spine, flat back. And extend your right leg back behind you. So we'll stretch out through that back leg leaning backwards and forwards on the ball of that foot. Sending the heel toward the back of the mat and then up toward the ceiling. And from here, we will lower the outer edge of that foot down with the toes pointing out toward the side and rotate to face the side of the mat. So that left hand is in line with the knee and that foot. And this leg, all we're doing is swinging from the knee to the ankle over to face the left side of the mat. Top arm reaches up and over. 3 breaths here. And start to roll that arm around in circles, leaning back into it. And take your time to rise up. Bring your arms out to a T. And reach toward the back of the mat and slide the hand down that leg as you lift the top arm up and over. Palm is down, fingertips point toward the back of the mat. 3 breaths. And start to rise up, cartwheel the hands back down to the mat, spinning the heel to face toward the back of the mat and then lowering that right knee down. And we'll switch. So left foot steps back, start to bob backwards and forwards. Notice any discrepancies that show up on this side. And let's turn to face the left side of the mat. So rotating from the knee to the ankle out to the side. Lining up hand, knee, and foot. Top arm reaches up and over. 3 rounds of breath. Option to windmill that arm around in circles. One more breath. And rise up, arms out to a T, reach toward the back of the mat, slide the hand down, and lengthen to stretch the right side body. 3 breaths. And release, cartwheel the hands down, spin to come back into that first position we started out in, draw the knees together, press back for a closed knees child's pose with the arms reaching forward. Relax the forehead here on the floor. Slow, full breaths. Lift up, we'll press back, downward facing dog. From here you can pedal out to the feet. Say hello to the hamstrings, the hips, the low back. Maybe crack the toes. from downward facing dog, you're going to ripple forward to a plank pose. So by that, I mean lifting up as if you're rounding through the upper back and you're creating this wave-like motion through the body as you shift forward to your plank pose. And then once you land there, we're going to take that ripple in reverse by softly bending at the knees, dropping the belly down toward the floor, and then reversing and pressing the chest back toward the quads as we straighten the legs and drive the heels down. So we ripple forward, wave-like motion, shoulders over the wrists, and then bend into the knees and reverse, send it back. Play around with this at your own pace. Again, if you've never done this before, it might feel a little weird. That's okay. So it's that rounding through the upper back and then the arching as we press back. Forward and round. Back with this arch. Warming up the spine. Let's take 2 more. And we'll meet in a forward fold at the back of the mat, so walk your hands back to your feet. Reach for opposite elbows for ragdoll. Close the eyes. Slow breaths. Drop the hands down to the floor if they're not there yet already. Pressing down through the feet. Bend into the knees. Tuck the chin in toward the chest. Slowly roll up to standing. 1 vertebrae at a time. Once you get there, draw the shoulders back and down. Sweep the arms up. And side bend to the right. Slide the hand down the leg. Tilt the hips. Reach up, side bend to the left, back up, and then press the palms together, press the hips forward, lean back, and from here we'll dive forward. So retuck the chin toward the chest, reach the arms forward, kind of like a candy cane, reverse rolling all the way down to the floor. Walk the hands out to your plank pose and drop the hips toward the floor to hover from modified tuck toe up dog. Gaze over the right shoulder, back to neutral, gaze over the left, back to neutral, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Good. From here, take that ripple forward to your plank pose and then reverse the wave back into your downward facing dog. 2 more like that. Ripple forward and reverse. Hey, Jake. Ripple forward and reverse. Okay, meeting back in our downward facing dog. Shift forward onto hands, or not onto hands, shift forward to your plank pose. Drop down to the knees. Untuck the toes, press back, close knees, child's pose. Arms stay reaching forward. Pause here. Full breath in. Full breath out. Good. From here, lift the chest. We're going to snake forward into a baby cobra. So you're going to pull the heart forward, keep the forearms on the mat for as long as you can, chest forward, and then up, elbows squeeze in toward the body, and then all the way back, excuse me, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Pardon. Okay, inhale forward to plank, Exhale down to the knees, untuck the toes, press back, child's pose. Pause here, breathe in, breathe out, and then lift the gaze, pull yourself forward into a baby cobra, lift up, press back, downward facing dog. Stay here, full breath in, full breath out. Okay, now let's add a couple of those movements in together and repeat them to continue warming up the spine. So inhale, take that ripple forward to plank pose, round through the upper back, create that wave-like motion through the body, then reverse it. Bend into the knees, dip the belly toward the floor, press the chest back as the tailbone lifts up. 3 more like this. Ripple forward, round, and then bend the knees, arch, press back. At your own pace, like the body's moving through honey. Take 1 more. And back to your down dog. Walk the hands back to the feet. Standing forward fold, back of the mat. Bend into the knees, slowly roll up chin to chest. Take your time. Sweep the arms up and overhead. And side bend to the right. Slide the hand down the leg, tilt the hips. Reach up. And over to the left. Back up to center. Palms together, press the palms together, press the hips forward, lean back, and then like a candy cane, reverse. Chin to chest, dive forward, round through the upper back. Walk the hands all the way out to your plank pose. Drop the hips to hover. And gaze over the right shoulder. Back to neutral, gaze over the left. Back to neutral, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. 3 rounds with that ripple wave-like motion. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale back. Inhale, forward. Exhale back. Last one, inhale, forward. Exhale back. Pause here, full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, drop down to the knees, untuck the toes, press back, child's pose. Inhale, pull yourself forward, sneak forward into that baby cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. 2 more, breathe in. Breathe out. Again, inhale forward, flat back. Exhale down and back. Inhale, pull forward, baby cobra. Lift up, exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here, breath in. Stay here, breath out. Last one, forward to plank. Exhale, down and back. Inhale, lift forward, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here, full inhale. And full exhale. Good, 3 rounds. Ripple forward, round through the upper back. Reverse, bend at the knees, press the chest back, tailbone up and down. For 1. Forward and back for 2. Last one, forward, back for 3. Walk the hands back to the feet. Bend into the knees, slowly roll up. Shoulders back and down, arms reach up and over. Side bend to the right. Lift up to center. Side bend left. Back to neutral, palms together, press the hips forward, dive forward, chin to chest, all the way down to the floor. Walk it forward, plank. Drop the hips. Look over the right shoulder. Back to center, look over the left. Back to center, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. 3 rounds like a wave. Ripple forward, plank pose. Reverse it, press back. For 1. Inhale forward. Exhale back for 2. Inhale, lift. Exhale back for 3. Stay here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, forward plank, flat back, exhale, drop down to the knees, press back, child's pose. Inhale, pull yourself forward, baby cobra, lift up. Exhale, back, down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one like this, inhale, forward, flat back plank. Exhale, drop down and back. Inhale, sneak forward, lift up. Exhale back. Breathe in. Breathe out. 3 rounds, wave-like motion. Shift forward, round, bend at the knees, press back for 1. Inhale forward. Exhale back for 2. Inhale, reach. Exhale back for 3. And shift forward, drop down to the knees, press back, child's pose, hold here. Close the eyes. Steady the breath. And lift up, shift forward into our seal pose. So dropping the hips toward the floor. Can have the palms on the mat with the fingertips pointing out toward the sides or forward. Drop your hips toward the floor. And add in, excuse me, we're adding in a little bit of a twist. So we're drawing that right knee up to the right wrist. And what I like to do is I'll plant my palm down on the ground with my right fingertips pointing backward, kind of like almost underneath this leg, and then walk this hand forward so I can drop that left quad toward the floor, toward the side of the mat, so I feel it more in the left side body. The more you walk your hand in toward you and get upright, the more intense it will be. So hold for 5 breaths on each side. And this is one of those classes I think you would have really liked the beginning part because we did a lot of warm-up stuff. So I'll make sure to let you know when it gets uploaded because I feel like this could be one of your favorites to come back to because it's really chill. Okay, 2 more breaths. And draw that right leg back in. And then switch. Left knee draws up toward left wrist. Make adjustments, pull that right quad forward and down, walk the hand in closer, 2 more breaths. And draw the left leg back. Reposition yourself back into your seal pose. And hold here. And take your time, release back to child's pose. Notice the rebound. Take it slow. Move the forehead on the mat side to side, gentle massage there. The space between the eyebrows can be a point of tension sometimes. And lift up. Let's meet back in a seat. We're coming back to where we started off in that upright posture. Palms on the knees. And let's take those rounds of cat-cow again. So releasing your weight back, tucking the chin in toward the chest, and then lifting up, broadening, gaze up. Breath to movement. Two more rounds. Back up to center, plant the right hand, reach up and over, lengthen. See how the body feels right now in comparison to the first time we did this. Excuse me, and then switch over to the left. And back up, twist to the right, take the hand outside the knee, close the eyes, 5 breaths. Same technique, inhale to lengthen, exhale to rotate, easing into it versus pushing or pulling. And release and switch sides. 5 breaths. Back to center, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to the heart, close the eyes. Take a moment to check in with the breath, the body, and the mind. Full inhale. Big exhale. Thank you. Namaste.